What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Back in studio today after being at practice yesterday. Really was such a blast at training camp yesterday. Got to meet a lot of really cool people. I'm still so happy for Green Bean. I hope you guys have seen the pictures, man. He was out there on the field having a great time and was able to meet Joe Douglas, Breece Hall, Robert Saleh, Quinnen Williams. Q signed his jersey. Really happy for our guy Green Bean. You guys know how much I love him, so just wanted to shout that out. And apologies for the audio in the video yesterday. On location's a little bit tough. You can't really bring in, I can't bring in my real, true camera and the actual audio equipment that I would like to use. So I was using a iPhone mic, and it wasn't fantastic, and I also did not have the best mic placement. To be fair, on a t-shirt is not ideal. A button down shirt and having it in your on your breastplate is the best place for a lavalier mic like that. But moral of the story, I'll stop nerding out over audio stuff, but just wanted to say thank you for sticking with me on yesterday's video. I know it wasn't the quality that I usually put out there, but wanted to do something on location. So let's preview this game for the New York Jets against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Really, this might be boring for some, and maybe I shouldn't lead with that, but the things that I'm looking for in this game are kind of similar to the things that I've been looking for in the last two games. We'll start with the offensive line. To me, I think that is the biggest thing right now is how does the offensive line shake out for this game? Who is the starters, so to speak? I don't think you'll see Laken Tomlinson, especially because he's banged up, AVT, especially because he's banged up. Dwayne Brown hasn't practiced yet, so you won't see him. But I'm curious how long of Max Mitchell and Billy Turner and guys like that you get, where they have Joe Tippmann and Connor McGovern. Throughout the week, they've had McGovern start at center and then have Tippmann at guard. You could also have Wes Schweitzer at guard as well. So my expectation, I think you get a little bit of time with Joe Tippmann at guard, and then he plays a majority at center. I don't think you're going to see a ton of some of the vets on this offensive line. For instance, like McGovern, Billy Turner, and not that Max Mitchell's a vet, so maybe he plays a little bit more, but I don't think you're going to see a ton of Turner, Schweitzer, and McGovern. I think you're going to see a lot more of Joe Tippmann at both spots, right? At guard and then at center. I am more curious about him at center than I am at guard. Can he play in a pinch? Yeah, he's athletic enough. I think he's absolutely someone who could succeed at guard if need be. But let's be honest here, his future with this team is at center, and he's flashed. He's looked really, really good so far, I thought, at least through 2 games with the New York Jets. And through 3 weeks ago, the guy was like, oh, this is, there's no way he's going to start, this and that. Some were already declaring him a bust and just all these crazy things. And now he's progressing to the point where he is in very real contention as to be a starter for this team, which is really fantastic stuff. Love to see that. But as for the other big piece of this offensive line that's going to get a heavy look is Mekhi Becton. He got some action at right tackle yesterday, which is about freaking time, right? That he got some action at right tackle. I know that they were trying to get him just back comfortable. He's more comfortable on the left side, and he's been running with the twos, and then he runs with the twos yesterday at right tackle. I get it. I understand that they want to take this slow, and I respect that after coming back from, an injury the last couple of years. But the Jets are inching so close to this season now. It is, as of recording this, August 18th. So less than a month for the start of the season, and you still really don't know how this offensive line is going to shake out, especially because Dwayne Brown has not returned yet. He's going to be back soon. I feel like I say every single day that he's going to be back soon, and we don't know when soon actually is, but at some point before the season starts, he will be back and ready to go for opening day. AVT and Laken day to day, so not really a big concern there. But with Mekhi specifically, it's about freaking time he gets reps on the right side, because if their plan is not to have AVT at right tackle and instead play him at right guard, which I understand, I get that, Mekhi has to be in serious consideration to be the starter on that right side, because Billy Turner has been horrific in training camp and Max Mitchell hasn't been much better. Both guys have struggled, and I think both guys are best suited in a backup role. Fine depth, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to complain if Billy Turner or Max Mitchell is your fourth tackle. No complaints out of me. Absolutely no complaints. I think that's fine. Or even a swing tackle. Okay, I get that. But as a starter, no thank you. I'm hoping that Mekhi is able to ramp himself up to get him into the starting lineup, because if they are, dead set on their best five, getting their best five out there, I think a healthy Mekhi Becton is a part of that best five. I was saying, in the past week or so that I don't think the Jets, not me, but I don't think the Jets view Mekhi as a realistic starter, because they've only given him left tackle reps and they've only given him a run with the second team. That's changing, obviously, as he's getting some reps on the right side, which I think is a good sign. And if eventually he gets his way up to the number ones, then I think he should earn that job. I hope he does anyway. Okay, enough on the offensive line. We did a lot on the offensive line. Also want to talk about Zach Wilson. Yes, I know he's not the starter. Some people are tired of talking of him. I get it. But it is a really big storyline because it's a question mark at QB2. I thought he was much better against Carolina than what he showed against Cleveland in the first preseason game. Yes, there was the splash play to Malik Taylor, but I thought he was okay against Cleveland, and I thought he was solid against Carolina. Was he amazing? No, I'm not sitting out here and telling you that Zach Wilson's the answer going forward and that he's the future, but I think he showed that he could be a backup quarterback on this team, and that's really all you're asking of him for this season and for right now and maybe going forward. I know that when you look at it in the wide lens of the number 2 overall pick turning into a backup quarterback, not good, obviously. That is nobody's goal for Zach Wilson going number 2 overall. But for what this team is asking of him and what this team needs right now as a backup, I think he can do it. And I am curious to see another half, because Aaron Rodgers will not play in this game, nor do I really want him to play in the Giants game, but maybe he gets a couple of series there. But you should get a half of Zach Wilson and a half of Boyle. So another nice size sample. It ended up being a pretty good, I would say pretty good to solid half for Zach Wilson. There were some nice moments. There were a couple of missed throws and a couple of drives stalled out, but it wasn't anything horrific. He managed the game. He looked like the kind of quarterback that we saw against Miami, against Buffalo, against Green Bay. In the second half of that game in Pittsburgh, like the Jets, you could manage. If he could manage a game like that, they should be fine. You just can't get the Patriots or Broncos or some of the Detroit or definitely not the Jacksonville performance from Zach going forward if he did have to step in. So gonna watch that. And then how dominant is this defensive line? No Carl Lawson, no Quinnen, no JFM, probably no Al Woods, but we saw last week this defensive line absolutely wreck the game against the Carolina Panthers. They were dominating their first team offensive line, and they are deep. And I would anticipate them to be very, very good again. And that might be tough for Tampa Bay because they are in a quarterback competition. This is what their thing is. They're trying to find out if they want to start Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield. So they are trying to figure out which one of their quarterbacks is going to be the starter on this team. And it might be a long day for them because that defensive line is going to get after it. It doesn't matter that the Jets don't have the ones out there because their twos are a lot of teams' number ones. A defensive line of something to the effect of, we'll call it Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald at edge with Quentin Jefferson and Solomon Thomas in the middle / Michael Clemens in the middle. Like you could do a lot worse on your defensive line than that. So for that being the Jets' second rotation is just so shocking. But yeah, I'm going to be watching this defensive line closely. And other than that, there's some minor competitions like wide receiver 6 still trying to figure out. Returner, does Xavier Gibson drop a punt this week? I don't think he ends up winning that role. I think they're just going to use McCole Hardman. Maybe the Jets end up carrying 5 wide receivers because it's going to be extremely challenging getting this roster to 53, which is something I've said for a few weeks now. But that's what I'm looking forward to in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Please, I want to hear from you, things to look for or things you are looking forward to in this game against Tampa Bay. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.